This is the development of the grand war between a few Russian men and women of power. They're fighting, serving each other huge blows. The blows are felt by every single Russian and seen by pretty much everyone in the world. This political catfight affects hundreds of millions of people. It destroys families, it takes lives, it erases the future of the entire country that used to be called Russia. It is fought by the very few powerful people. They have been placed in charge of large government agencies and allowed to use enormous resources with millions of employees. Their jobs are to make Russian citizens' lives good, to make opportunities for people, to keep the economy going, to make Russia peaceful and great. They are paid by the taxpayers, and they are operating with the taxpayers' money, after all. Yet, these people are clashing with each other. And their goal, they all have one simple goal in mind: to keep their power, their influence. They have one goal: to please the Tsar. So he lets them be at power for a little longer. This is the fight between Russia's military-industrial complex and the central bank for the power, influence, and money. Howdy, howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and this is Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, you will not find here BS, propaganda, or lies, but you will find here truth, common sense, and logic, and some emotions, because I'm a human being after all. Friends, before I start, I'd like to tell you what I find important about my work. I tell you every single day, I tell you about what is happening in Russia. I tell you of the transformation that Russia is going through. I tell you of, I can say, the demise of Russia, a very large and great country in the past, and what has become into it. I think it's important because Russia is so large, it just cannot be ignored. In some ways, it's too big to fail, you know? Its demise will be felt all over the world. So I tell you of things that I find important. But what I find most important, I need to identify and choose what to tell you. What kind of events? What kind of news? Because what I've been doing for almost 3 years, I've been telling you the grand tale of the demise of Russia. The central bank last week kept the key interest rate at 21%. Despite of most experts, myself included, Elvira Nabiulina did not increase the key interest rate. What's the big deal? It's just one of the economic steps that the Russian government is taking to, to keep the economy stable. Well, it is a big deal. The decision is a part of the ongoing story of the war that is happening between Russia's military-industrial complex, led by its head Sergei Chemezov, and Russia's central bank, led by Elvira Nabiulina. This fight is defining Russia's future. Right now, what's happening right now influences Russia's future greatly. Well, let me jump right into the story. Let me tell you the details, why I think this is such a big deal. First of all, let me give you a very short summary of what happened in the previous episodes. Now, I'll tell you that from the beginning, the Central Bank of Russia has been trying to keep the inflation under control. I believe that that was the order given to Elvira Nabiulina by Vladimir Putin back in March 2022. In the middle of financial panic and panic in general that was happening in Russia after it invaded Ukraine. And the central bank has been trying to do exactly that, to keep the inflation under control. They have done so by slowly, well, perhaps not so slowly, but by raising the key interest rate. They started in June 2023, and 18 months later, it's it's December 2024. The key interest rate is 21. So again, they did it cautiously. Every couple months, the central bank holds a meeting. So and they kept on raising the key interest rate to fight the inflation. That is the primary motivation. At the same time, they've been cooling down Russian economy. Well, I can't really say cooling down, but they've been trying to take the money away from the market and put it so that people, the players in the markets, would take their money, cash, and put it into the deposits in the banks. That's what you do to keep the inflation low. That affects the prices. But at the same time, it makes much more difficult for businesses to borrow money because the key interest rate, just makes the money expensive. Now, the central bank did a very unusual thing. Well, unusual for the ones who don't know, but to us, it's actually a very usual thing. Central bank kept everyone calm until the summer of 2024, I'm sorry. They started raising the key interest rate. I'll try to take this economic stuff, mumbo jumbo, and make it as easy as possible. Okay, so bear with me a little bit. So they started in June 2023, and they were taking it very easily, and they were doing the process what I call sugarcoating. That was the period of presidential elections in Russia coming, so preparation. I can't say the campaign, because there was no campaign. There was only one competitor, right? But still, whoever was in charge of the presidential elections, I don't believe that is Putin, that's his campaign managers, the Grey Cardinals, they decided to keep people calm. And the central bank raising the key interest rate and telling the truth about the state of Russian economy definitely did not fit in that picture. So they made central bank downplay the conditions of Russian economy. And they did. They just kept on cautiously raising the key interest rate. And actually, in March and February, Elvira Nabiulina spoke twice at public events saying that the inflation was at the control at the time, and she did not see any dangers in the future. The presidential election happened. Vladimir Putin was appointed to his 5th term, and then sugar-coated was not needed any longer. And I call that period sugar-coating off. So in June of 2024, Nabiulina came out basically telling the truth. She was very harsh of the state of Russian economy, and she was telling as it is. She said inflation returned miraculously, like it stopped and then it returned a couple months later. And she didn't see any bright future in terms of keeping the inflation low. She started sharply raising the key interest rate, and she did so in 3 increments, and right now we're having in December 2024, we're having 21%, which is pretty darn bad. If you own a business anywhere in the world, in Europe, in the United States, in Australia, imagine that you have to go to a bank and get yourself some money, a business loan for something, to make an event. And the bank says, oh, sure, we'll give you money at 32%. How would you feel about that? If you just a person and go into a bank to get a mortgage, and bank says, hey, no problem, 27% annuity. If you have a credit card, 48%. How would you feel about that? That's pretty much what it is in Russia right now. So the rhetoric of Elvira Nabiulina has been becoming harsher and harsher. And the last meeting they held in late October, they increased the key interest rate to 21%. She was very harshly talking about Russian economy. She said that in case the central bank would not see an improvement in the inflation slowing down, they would take even more radical measures, like raising the key interest rate by 3 or 4% to 24, 20, 25. So, and she said that at that point, 2 months ago, she was not seeing any light at the end of the tunnel, okay? So, and she was absolutely right. The inflation right now is galloping, and there is no light at the tunnel. And most economists, most experts, myself included, thought that Elvira Nabiulina would increase the rate. But an interesting thing started happening. Even before the last raise in October, the central bank and the Ministry of Finance, along with it, because it's considered one group, economic wing of Russian government, started getting attacked by a very powerful entity, the military-industrial complex of Russia. The military-industrial complex has the opposite goal. You see, one man controls 80% of the enterprises of the military-industrial complex. That is old Putin's friend, Sergei Chemezov. And his goal is to create more death. He doesn't care about the economy. He doesn't care about the inflation. He doesn't care about people. All he cares is to get cheap money, to operate factories, and to create more weapons, more ammo, more drones, more planes, more tanks, to create more death. And the key interest rate, being so high, definitely hurts factories because they go to banks, and banks loan them money at high interest rate. So he needs low interest rate. And he started attacking the central bank, the Nabiulina. So, and I made a video about that about a month and a half ago. I'm going to put a link over here. Check it out. This is where I announced that the war broke out between the military-industrial complex and the central bank. Lately, Sergei Chemezov intensified the attacks. Lately, besides just himself, and I'm pretty sure as being the old friend of the Tsar, he speaks to him on a regular basis, but he's decided to get the heavy artillery, Russian parliament. There have been 2 actions taken. The first action, Russian senators have introduced an amendment of a federal law allowing to fire the head of the central bank. There are conditions. If 90 senators make a letter, if 90 senators think that the head of central bank doesn't do a good job, doesn't work for the greatness of Russia, whatever, they write a letter to the president asking to consider firing the head of central bank and replacing with a new one. Now, a law like this does not exist, and the procedure of firing the head of central bank is absolutely different. It's much more difficult, but they're trying to make it much easier. Okay, that's number one. Number two, there is a very powerful senator, and his name is Sergei Mironov. he is the head of one of the fractions in the parliament, he publicly accused Nabiulina of inadequacy. I quote, he said, "Nabiulina, you've been doing all of this and the inflation has doubled and now it's much more difficult for the factories to borrow money. So, are you an adequate person?" He asked in the parliament in front of everyone, on public. Of course, it was recorded and duplicated everywhere, and he insulted the head of the central bank. That's Russian senator for you. Anyway, in the live stream that I just gave you the link, I forecasted that the attacks would intensify, and they did. And I also forecasted that Elvira Nabiulina would lose the war and she would be fired. Well, she was served a huge blow. Vladimir Putin himself served that blow. You see, he must have gotten information. He must have listened to some people. I'm pretty sure he listened to Chemizov a great deal, to his great cardinals. And in the last week at the press conference, he criticized, although lightly, but still, he criticized the Central Bank of Russia. He said that the central bank underperformed. Vladimir Putin never gets mad on public. He never gets emotional. He doesn't, he doesn't show his feelings much. But even when he slightly criticizes someone, that is a huge deal. You can await actions after that. And he criticized the Russian central bank. He said that according to some experts, obviously he listened to some experts, that the inflation could be kept under control using different tools. Oh, I don't know what they are, but he must know better. He is the president of the country, and we're all just economists. That's, there you have it. The last Friday, Elvira Nabiulina reacted immediately. The board meeting was scheduled, of central bank was scheduled on December 20th, and it was not changed. It happened last week on Friday. And Elvira Nabiulina announced that she kept the key interest rate, 21%. She lost a battle, but she has not lost the war. Perhaps she even won. We don't know. You see, she should have increased the rate if she were to concentrate on the economic side. But when the Tsar tells you that you are doing something wrong, he tells everyone publicly, you listen in Russia. Elvira Nabiulina should have increased the rate because the inflation is growing. Not only growing, but it's increasing. Growing. It's growing at the increasing speed. Actually, in November, the inflation in Russia hit the record high since 2002, in 22 years. And in 3 weeks of December, it is already breaking the record of November. So it's pretty bad. If you go to Russian stores, you will see a picture of prices going up. And the government trying to control prices desperately. The police is trying to control, the federal police, the attorney general, the investigators. They're pressing the retail stores to keep the prices, to lower their margins, and the producers of food, at least until the New Year holidays are over. Anyway, it's real. According to some independent sources, the inflation is 27% at this point. And folks, think about it. What would you say that if you went to a store and saw an increase of 1/3 of all prices? I think you understand. So Elvira Nabiulina, 1 month ago, was telling us that very firmly that if the inflation would not slow down, that the central bank would not see any signs of slowing down in December, then the central bank would increase the rate significantly. And a lot of experts actually thought that the rate would be increased up to 25% by 4 points, by 4%. And then she backed down. But the thing is, she has no reasons to back down because she was doing the right thing. If given the goal of keeping the inflation under control, she needs to raise the key interest rate. All the executives of the central bank present at the conference, they seemed shaken. I saw the press conference, and Elvira Nabiulina usually projects confidence. She is the strong lady. She's like, the image of Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady, and that's Elvira Nabiulina in Russia. And she definitely wasn't portraying her usual image. She was shaken and she was stressed, and so were her assistants, the heads of departments of the central bank, vice presidents, I think. So she gave a very lousy explanation why they did not raise the key interest rate. She actually lied. And, she's caught red-handed. So 1 month ago, she clearly stated that business loans increased in October by a great deal. And then she said that if the central bank would not see the decrease in November, then the key interest rate would be raised, okay? And now she says that they see the slight decrease in November. But this is where she lied, because the data for November is not out yet. It will be out in a week, in about 7 days. That's incredible. She even had an argument with one of her assistants, a vice president, about that, He said that he didn't see the data. I said, well, it's just you didn't see it. I saw it. It's out there, And she shut him down. It was actually incredible. So, based on just that data, she did not increase, at least how she explained it. Well, friends, I tell you what, to keep the key rate at 21% is the worst of both worlds. Because it's not high enough to keep the inflation under control, but at the same time, it is high enough to cool down the economy and to make money expensive enough for factories, for businesses to be able to afford borrowing from banks. So the purpose, neither of the purposes, not to flood the economy with money, flood the military-industrial complex with money, it's not achieved. And also the inflation will be increasing even more in the following couple months, okay? So Sergei Chemezov, when he spoke publicly in October, he complained that 21% was already high enough for most of his companies, enterprises, and factories to not making any profit. So 21, they need to either lower it, it's going to be a disaster, or they need to increase it, but it's also going to be a disaster. Like I said in the past, it's a lose-lose situation. If you decrease the interest rate, you make money more available to borrow for the military-industrial complex, and they certainly work more. They produce more death, more tanks, more ammo, more vests, more helmets, and so forth. But everyone else suffers. And if you raise the key interest rate, then the military-industrial complex suffers and it starts laying off people, and your economy basically goes down the drain as well. So I've been saying for a long time, Putin has got the country, the economy, into a position called zugzwang. Every move he takes, anyone takes in Russia, places Russia into a worse position. And this is what we're seeing right now. It's not a forecast anymore. This is a true hard reality, okay? So, this is political populism. This is what's happening right now. Not one single goal is achieved, and we're seeing two large clans fighting, two large power groups fighting with each other. You know, the results we're seeing right now, and the companies, a lot of companies, not from the military-industrial complex, but just regular companies, they have they're doing actions based on the high key interest rate. A lot of companies have started cutting down their investment programs. You know, large private and state, well, most of large companies, corporations in Russia are state-owned right now, okay? And what is happening is they've started cutting down on the expenses. They've started laying off people. Those who are receiving lots of money, earning lots of money, the IT department, non-essential personnel, I should say. I made a live stream about that too a few days ago. Check it out. So, we are seeing Severstal cutting down its investment program. We're seeing Norilsky Nickel cutting down the investment program. We're seeing the same for Lipetsky Medkombinat. We're seeing the same for Novatec, for oil companies, of course. Russia has entered the stage of political populism and the lack of the direction in the economy. Because you see that what's very important is when you understand that some agency is responsible for moving economy into some direction. The central bank, for example, is responsible for fiscal policy, and it's either tightening the policy or softening it. And you got to understand which direction, because they are completely opposite. Well, right now there's no direction because they're doing everything at the same time, which is madness, okay? You cannot expect good economic results. Elvira Nabiulina and the central bank they were always positioning themselves as independent from politicians, political decisions. They always were proud of themselves for just caring about the economy. And to a certain degree, well, in Russia you can't do that 100% with a czar appointing you to the job, but to a certain degree she was right. And then as a result of that independent policy, independent stand, the war broke out between the military-industrial complex and the central bank, okay? Just because the central bank was making unpopular decisions that were hurting the military-industrial complex. But now that direction is gone. Well, there was a direction until last Friday, and now it's gone. You know, but there could be a catch. What we're seeing again is a political game now. It's not economics anymore. And we're seeing a war between two large clans, but it could be a lot behind the facade, okay? Before I tell you about that, I'd like to do a couple things. First, I'd like to sip this wonderful English breakfast tea. As usual, I would like to thank 3,500 people, almost 3,600 who are watching right now. I am honored that you came. And I gotta tell you a little personal story, just 1 minute, you know. Actually, I had a little crisis of faith this morning, so to speak. I questioned myself all day of what I am doing. For some reason, and I guess it happens, I had a feeling that my reports on what is happening about in Russia and, of transformation that Russia is going through is useless, not needed by anyone, and basically what I'm doing is nonsense. That's how exactly I was feeling all day. I call it crisis of faith in myself. And then I came back to read the comments, and I do that every day. I read not all, but most of the comments because there are thousands of them every day. I read the comments that you left me. And I also received a message from a guy named Hank. I quote, "Can you do me a big favor? My sister is in a Sloan hospital, stage 4 cancer in a very weak condition, waiting to have surgery. Please pray for her recovery. Please ask everyone to pray for her." This is my prayers list right here. That's what I read. The names I read every day, and I add someone and I remove someone who asks. And after reading that, I felt inspired. I felt good again. My questions were answered. So I want to thank you, everyone who is part of this community, everyone who's watching right now, everyone who likes my videos, everyone who leaves comments, everyone who stops by and says something nice. I'm pretty weak person, and sometimes I feel crushed between trying to be the best son, husband, and father of 5 kids, the best I can be, between trying to help Russians and Ukrainians here in Tashkent and caring for family, between Brain Drain Charity Foundation that I established with Manus McLean. It's too much weight, and sometimes I feel crushed by this weight. I guess it's one of the days, but it's you who keep me going. I read the comments, I read the emails, I read the messages that you include into buy me coffees and on Patreon and on PayPal, and that just makes me grow wings, makes me get up, gives me power, gives me strength to keep on going. So thank you so very much. Thank you for your emails, your comments, your words, your thoughts. It's really thoughts. It's really wishes. It's really love. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the coffees that you buy me at buymeacoffee.com. Thank you for becoming patrons, and thank you for PayPal. Thank you for your love. You are the ones who are making this happen. Without you, I'd be crushed. Thank you. Now let's get back to the message. Like I said, Nabiulina has lost a battle, and she looked very shaken last Friday. She spoke, she was, visibly shaken. Not very self-confident as usual, but she has not lost the war. What we're seeing right now could be a possible political maneuvering by a very cunning person who is Elvira Nabiulina. Everyone who is close to Vladimir Putin, who is on top of Russia, Russians call it the elites. They're not the elites to me, okay? They're just people who outslide others and had so much desire for lust for power that it brought them on the very top of Russian society, on the pyramid, So they're very, very sly. All of them are cunning, and Nabiulina is one of them. So she might be using a strategy that I call, let's see and wait what happens. Well, not strategy, but it's more of a tactics. You see, she's been under constant attack. Personally, because they're not blaming the central bank. They are blaming one person, and that is Elvira Nabiulina. Okay, she is in the way of certain powerful people, certain powerful clans, and they're trying to get rid of her, and they're trying to control the central bank. So it simply makes decisions favorable to them. Elvira Nabiulina has been the head of the central bank for 12 years. She likes her job very much. That's one of the top jobs in Russia. She answers directly to the Tsar himself, and she doesn't want to go. She's full of energy, and I'm pretty sure she loves power. So she might have come out with this strategy, okay? She might be thinking, all right, they want cheaper money. I will pretend that I have given up, that I surrendered to them. I will not keep the interest, I will not increase the interest rate. Instead, I will pretend as I did it because of the pressure. But I know well that inflation in Russia is galloping, and it might be hyperinflation in the future. I know well, I know the data, and it's not the BS that we're giving Russians here and there in the news. I have the real data, the real statistics, and I know that there's a disaster happening in Russia. I know that November was the record high inflation month in 22 years. And I know that December will be another record high. It'll break the record of November. I know all of that. I know the prices will skyrocket after January 1st. And already skyrocketed. I know all of that. I know that the interest rate of exchange rate, not interest, the exchange rate of Russian, well, the value of Russian ruble will be lowered. I know that well. I know that it's going to be disastrous. So when the next meeting will happen in February, they will come to me and will start begging. So the central bank does something to keep the situation under control. This could be, very well could be the tactics that Elvira Nabiulina is using to save her job. Perhaps to save her life, who knows? I don't really know how heated that war is at this point, but hey, the stakes are high. We will see what is happening with this in February. In the mid-February, there will be another meeting, and trust me, we don't have to wait long. It's going to be the holiday season and a couple of weeks, and the January is usually a short month because of holidays. Then comes February, we'll see that. So this is what I think. Well, I cannot guarantee you, but I don't believe that what we're seeing in the news, what we're seeing as simple actions, I don't believe they are what they appears. I believe that there's a lot of movements, actions, and shenanigans behind the curtains that we're not seeing. Okay? So mark my words, please. I cannot tell you, I cannot guarantee you, but let's watch this development. I'll be watching closely, and I'll definitely make a live stream to update you on the situation, what's happening in February. And I would like to finish the stream by saying that these people of great power, and probably the biggest power anyone held in Russia, Putin is holding right now, and his buddies, friends, and servants, such as Nabiulina, Chemizov, Griev, and the likes, they have enormous amount of power over Russian people in their hands. They have enormous amount of resources. They have accumulated enormous amount of personal wealth at the taxpayers' expenses, okay? And they're playing games. They playing games to hang on to their power, to hang on to their positions, to hang on to their resources. And Russia is getting destroyed. because their goals are not to make Russia great, not to make it peaceful, not to make the living standard high, not to make life, the state working for people. No, the goal is different. The goal is very personal, each one of them, to hang on to their power, to please the Tsar. So the Tsar allows them to stay near him for longer. And the power is a trap, because no matter how long you have it, it ends. And then you have to pay to answer for everything that you do, you have done. And they will answer too. Sooner or later, they will answer. Meanwhile, they're playing their power games and Russia is getting destroyed. Russia's future is just getting erased. Thank you so very much. Before inviting everyone to live stream chat, I'd like to remind you that I have found a formula how to stay on top of things, all things Russia. You see, it's very important to follow the developments every day, but it's time consuming, and you have to know where to look. A lot of people don't. There's not too many news available in English. I know where to look. I look at different sources in Russian, and I keep my pulse on everything that happens in Russia every day. So I carefully select 9 news, and I make them available to patrons of Inside Russia. Along with my commentaries, analysis, the news that I find important. So if you want to stay on top of things, all things Russia, but didn't know where to look no further, become patron. I'm going to put the link down below after this live stream ends. This is how YouTube works and live streaming works. You know, I can't do it now. So please consider becoming patron and stay informed. Thank you. Let me turn the live stream chat on right now, and please let me know what you think of today's message. Just 1 second. We have about 3,800 people right now, which is great. Thank you so much again. It's my honor to host you here. The live stream chat is on. This is my most favorite part of every stream, when I turn the live stream chat on and my screen explodes with real people. You know, it's not just me sitting in front of the camera and speaking into this mic, but it's you on the other end, and I start seeing you. And I'd like to remind everyone that Inside Russia is the best community, and that is a result of work, everyday work of a few people. The moderators, Lorna, Mami K, Harry Potnin, Dirk, Bob S, and Amir Fazad. Fantastic people and the best moderators you can ever find. So thank you, friends. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, the pillars of Inside Russia and the usual suspects, for coming back day after day and giving me a chance to tell my stories. Thank you for liking, for commenting, and I would like to hear your questions and your comments. And if you want me to see your comments and questions easier, please put them all in caps and put Inside Russia after @ so I see them highlighted in large orange boxes. Thank you so very much. And please forgive me if I don't answer all the questions. If you really want to ask something and I don't answer, I just don't see it. So then just keep on posting your question. Sooner or later, I will see that. So, Harry, howdy. Thank you for showing everyone how it's done. Leitmotiv from Bowie, Maryland. Hello, hello. Ferrari guy. Well, I was going to say long time no see, but I saw you a couple previous streams. So thank you for coming back. Ferrari guy is one of the pillars of Inside Russia. It's been member of a community for a very long time. Baker Stock, Holy Be Jesus, we keep on praying for you. Howdy. Royal Oak, Roy Cousins from London. Remy Leon, howdy. Matt Blazer 89 from Transylvania. Billy Bob Joe, howdy. Joao Morenos, Red 984, howdy howdy. Veronica Mifsad, Galichanka, hello and thank you very much. It's my honor that you have come and participating in the live stream. Thank you. Please forgive us. Scott Nesbitt, Kamo, Gloria, Palm Tree Kate, 89, QWYG9, Drawbridge 611, one of the best streams you've ever done. Thank you so much. Well, thank you. Thank you. It was a very tough day. I was questioning myself all day today because all of this seemed just non-important, you know. But then, like I said, I started reading the messages and streams and not streams, but the messages, the comments, and you know, that's very inspiring. I think without this community and without live streaming and chats, and I think I would have been so depressed. It's really hard to understand what other Russians who have fled feeling at this point, because I have such tremendous therapeutic boost from you. So again, thank you. Now, jump into the questions. English only. Thank you, Dirk, for reminding us. English and no U.S. politics. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pam Tree Kate, fantastic stream. Thank you so much. Palm Tree Kate, this is a discussion I was having with my wife this morning, and she's great. She's the wisest person I've seen. Okay, I'm so lucky. She's beautiful, she's loving, and she's very smart and wise. It's complete pack. I don't understand why I'm so lucky. You know, for what? It's like a gift. But anyway, we were having this discussion, and you're absolutely right. This is the Russian economy. The fall of Russian economy is a weapon for Ukraine, but the fall is happening too slow. Economy doesn't fall overnight, you know. It has kinetic energy. It keeps on going. It's like a big ship. You know, you start turning the wheel at the ship, but it keeps on forward for quite some time, and only then slowly it starts turning. That's actually a good analogy to economy, any large economy. Terry Carter, howdy. Pulaski, Virginia. You have a bright future ahead of you. Keep the faith. Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, YouTube definitely doesn't think that I have a bright future ahead of me. But thank you. Veronica, hope Elvira doesn't live on the top floor of a high-rise. Well, I think she does. Helen KP, sending lots of love. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is priceless. Thank you. Andrew from South Africa, hello. Angela McNaught. Fulvia Falco from South Africa as well. Well, South Africa has become popular. It's becoming popular. Great Southern Land, howdy. Guy, what the fudge? The dawn of the howdy crew. Thank you so much. Thank you. 89 QWYG, thank you. Thank you for the good words. Stockholm, Sweden. Sending my love to Stockholm. Must be cold there now. Per Haglind. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I can't get used to the idea that everyone says Merry Christmas way before Christmas, actually. But Merry Christmas to you all and Happy New Year. Terry, howdy. Never forget the doubt how important your work. It's easy to say, but you see, I can think whatever I want, but sometimes I just have this feeling, and I don't know what to do with it. It's like it's not up to me. I wish I could just switch it off somehow magically. But like I said, the only thing that helps is the feedback, love that I receive, other people telling me that they find my work important. Red Rat 984, thank you so much. Thank you for the good words. Warrior Queen, hello. Alice, Merry Christmas to you too. Lilith Eden, howdy. Dale, please do not think what you're doing doesn't matter or a waste of time. Considerable Thank you. Thank you so much. I do feel like I'm up against not a considerable, but a gargantuan giant, and it tries to crush me through different tentacles, M. Mueller, bad rumors of end of gas transition via Ukraine. There have been rumors, and Ukrainians have stated, they said in last year that 2024 is going to be the last year of transit. They said it in 2023, and they have not changed their position. But you know what? A lot of important events are coming up, crucial events coming up soon. There's going to be a negotiation held, many negotiations, a series of negotiations in January, in February. And I believe that gas transition via Ukraine is actually one of the trump cards. So I can't tell you at this point because I can only tell what I know. No one knows what's going to happen with gas transit through Ukraine. But I'm definitely keeping my eyes open. If I know something tangible, something I can hold in my hand, a fact I can give you, I'll definitely give it to you. But right now, I'm just telling you that there are rumors, and that's all I know. Eric, streamer, you, howdy. Kathy S., Merry Christmas. Kevin Sisler, Happy Holidays. Greetings from Bulgaria. Ian Dodds. Hello, friend. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you for the good words. Pinta the Peanut, it's always fantastic to see you. You're almost like a part of the family now, Gertz Brömers. Danke schön. Thank you so much. Do you trust Russian statistics about its demographics, or is it worse? Again, one of those things I cannot tell you the facts because then they're what is this called? Censuses? When they actually count people. I think it's called the census, right? They're not doing it. The last one was done a long time ago, and in Russia, they're not doing it. This is an indirect proof that something is going on, something they don't want everyone to see, something that is not favorable. So I do not trust Russian statistics about its demographics. I think it's worse, but again, this is just my personal opinion, okay? And I cannot prove it with anything. But this stinks. There's smoke there. There's something there, David Post, Merry Christmas to you. Just Terry. Karen Barden from Hertfordshire. Uh, Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire. Hartford. Hertfordshire. 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 New Hampshire. Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire. Sorry. Karen, in your honor, I'm taking a sip of this wonderful English breakfast tea. My drink of choice. I'm not English. I drink it with no milk. So I know. I've been told many times that I should add milk, but I'm not there yet. I'm still trying to evolve, as a tea drinker. So cheers to you. Thank you for the nice words. Deborah from sunny California. Very good to see you. You're a regular here at Inside Russia, the usual suspect. Thank you for coming. Gloria, Ksenia Yudaeva, colleague of Elvira, is now doing well at IMF Executive Director for Russia, but Syria. Well, she was fired recently, and she was the most powerful ally of and personal friend of Elvira Nabiulina at the central bank. She is the victim of the war that is happening, and those big, powerful, strong men, they are trying to weaken Elvira Nabiulina. And how do you weaken a person at her position? By destroying her team or weakening her team. So Yudaeva was number 2. She was running the show in the central bank, and she's, I don't know how she's doing there. Okay, as an executive director, I know that she moved to the International Monetary Fund. And I want to say, friends, don't forget that she is criminal. She has been doing a great job of keeping the war economy going. Okay? So no matter where she moves to, don't forget her role in 2022, 2023, and 2024. Galichanka, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. Didn't work. I like the name. People have the power if they really want to change for the better in their lives. Thank you, Mr. Konstantin. Thank you so much. And I think this is a crucial concept, that we are the people concept still works. It's still alive. But the thing is, people forget about it. And in Russia, they either have forgotten about it or they didn't even know about that. So thank you. Carlos, howdy. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Terry, doesn't the Russian government have the means to get rid of Nabiulina? Why? She's doing a very good job. She has been doing an excellent job keeping the inflation under control. But the thing is, she's not a magician. It's a lose-lose situation. She cannot win. She can prolong the agony of Russian economy. And she's been doing that at the order of the Tsar, from the Putin himself. So they don't need to get rid of Nabiulina, but the power groups who have their own interests and who Elvira Nabiulina is against with her high interest rate, they want to get rid of her. So and Putin is in the middle and he's juggling. That's his power. This is a bunch of power clans around him, and he's the judge. He's the godfather. He clashes, he makes everyone clash, and then he, brings peace to them, and then he rules in someone's favor. And that has been his role in the past 24 years. Radar, my tea is right here. I'm sorry, Red Rat, 1984, not Radar. Terry. Lynette, USA, hello. Sending my love to the USA. Which state are you in? It'd be interesting to know. Friends, I'm checking time. About 5-6 minutes left. Dog lover from Florida, North Florida. Whereabouts are you? The Panhandle or Jacksonville? Gato, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much. Thank you for wonderful words. Pear, the snow has rained and melted away here in Stockholm. Hope there will be some snow tomorrow on Christmas Eve. Well, how is this possible? In Stockholm, it melted on Christmas? Wow. Gloria Julian. Ksenia Yudaeva should work for Europe. They will appreciate her intelligence. She is intelligent, all right. She's a stellarly intelligent, incredibly efficient. But don't forget of her role in the Russian war. Don't forget of her involvement in to keep in Russian economy, well, the war economy going. Don't forget that. First, take care of that. First, investigate, see if there's something there, and then appreciate her intelligence working in Europe. By the way, she's not working for Europe or in Europe. She's working in Moscow. I doubt that she's going to be working for Europe. And if she is, she's definitely going to be a sleeper for Elvira Nabiulina and for the, for Russia. Northern New Jersey has had its first snowfall. Northern New Jersey, is this right next to New York City? Redbud, Van Rijn, I'm sorry, pretty bad with names, I'm sorry, from the Netherlands. Thank you for coming. Kevin Knopf from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Billy Jim, New Zealand. Oh, I bet it's pretty warm there. Mr. Kaliskian from Windy City. I don't even ask what's the weather, but you're telling us anyway. So 38 degrees, 2 degrees Celsius. That's green grass, huh? Interesting. Should be lots of snow. Fee, great to see you. Long time no see. Couple years. I haven't seen you we haven't seen you in a couple years, I think. So thank you for coming back. Fee is the person who was with Inside Russia at the very beginning, before the war, long time before the war. So thanks for coming. Carol is here. Wow, what a fantastic bunch today. Carol, Merry Christmas to you. It's very good to see you. Guten Abend, and well, unfortunately, my German, Deutsch, is rusty. I hope all is well. Gloria started putting Baileys in my coffee. It's pretty cool. Natasha likes that. She drinks Baileys like twice a year. I think one of them is on New Year and in the holidays. Keith, 77 degrees in Hawaii. Nice, not too bad. Names are difficult. They don't follow the rules of grammar, and that's difficult to say. And I've been speaking for over an hour now, so my tongue starts kind of like not listening to me. Elaine, please don't give up. We need you. Look, I'm not gonna give up. That's for sure. I feel very heavy sometimes. I feel like I'm crushed, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna give up. Thank you. Thank you. Debbie from Chicagoland. Kate Topfield. 40 centimeter depth of snow. You must be from Canada. Merry Christmas to you. Adrian Wolhayes. We'll see. I don't know. He will sack. I think that Elvira is doing a maneuvering that's gonna keep her job. We will see in February. Okay. Will she accidentally fall out of the window? Who knows? Craig Hughes, where is the bottom for Russian economy and how does it recover without Western investment, finance, and customers? You know what? I'm gonna make a stream about that because this is incredibly interesting and important. Let me just make a screenshot of your question. Now, where is the bottom? I truly don't know because what is the demise of Russian economy? When can we say, well, this is it? It's demised. Okay. To me, it's very, very personal. To me, it's when if I live in Russia and I get out on the street and take a bus to work, but bus doesn't come because there's a shortage of bus drivers or there's shortage of diesel or both simultaneously. When I go to a store and I find shortages of things or not shortages, but food is so expensive I can't afford it. When I want to work and I go and get a job and it doesn't pay me and they don't pay me salary for months, they just delay. When I don't have enough money to provide for my family and even for myself, I can't travel, I can't do anything but to eat. Okay, that is the demise of the economy. And I'll let me tell you a story, a personal story. One of my relatives called me today. And for about 20 years, he had a small business, a few people working for him. He was making and installing new plastic windows into homes of Russians. And then he closed down his business around 2015 or 2016, something like that. It was just became, the business was shrinking and it's just not worth it. And then he started working. He became an employee and he is an engineer, he has a diploma. He worked for a company that builds roads in Russia. And he was always well-to-do. You know, he was able to send his son to university, help him buy him. He managed to buy him an apartment. He managed to buy a car for himself, for his wife, and build himself a house. A very like middle class family in Russia. And then they sold one of the cars. They couldn't afford it anymore. He changed the job because the previous job was paying him like 30,000 rubles, which is under $300. And now he stopped driving a car to work because he can't afford it anymore. And that person was always, not wealthy, but well-to-do. He can't afford to drive his car to work and back. He has to take a bus. And then he started complaining me that the buses go on not according to the schedule. There's no schedule anymore because they don't know when they're going to come. And there's tons of people waiting for buses. It's really difficult to go to work. In my eyes, that is the demise. But you know what? Thank you again. Thank you. A great question. And I'm gonna talk much more about that. How does it recover without Western investment, finance, and customers? It will not. It will stay down below somewhere in the dirt for years and decades. That's what I think. Anyway, friends, before I finish and invite everyone to pray, I would like to ask you. Well, anyway, you know what? I will ask you about the upcoming schedule for a couple of days after I consult with the moderators. Okay, because it's a Christmas Eve tomorrow and Thursday is Christmas, and Anyway, I will make an announcement in the community section. Please stay tuned. And right now, I invite everyone to pray with us. A lot of people need our help. If you're religious, please pray. If you're not religious, then just call it whatever you want. Call it sending good wishes, good vibes, good energy to universe, or, doesn't matter. It's all the same. Let's pray. Let's send good wishes to people. They need help. A lot of people need help. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for everything you've given us. Thank you for this day, for the food that you placed on our tables, for roofs you've put over our heads. Thank you for the loved ones who surround us. Thank you for our families, our children. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above the heads of our children safe and peaceful. Please give us wisdom to raise our children in a way that when they grow up, they will make this world a better place, will never be engaging in any wars, just be friends to each other and love each other. For now, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, please help Ukraine. The country has suffered so much. People need peace. They need normal life back. Please help every single Ukrainian, answer their prayers, and make their wishes come true. Reach out and touch the hearts of those who can make the decision to stop the bloodshed and remind them that they're still human beings with love left in their hearts, so they make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Dear Lord, please help my country, Russia. Assemble your strongest angels with sharpest swords. Have Saint Michael lead that army down to this earth and get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country, who we know by their names and by their faces. Send your good angels to help good Russians to run their country, to make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Dear Lord, please help all those who are traveling, send them safe travels. Help those who are in dire straits, in danger of any kind, in high waters. Please send help. Help those who are seeking help from other people, seeking asylum and protection. Help single mothers and fathers who are struggling, raising their children, trying to make ends meet. Please send help their way. Help those who are helping Ukraine, and Ukrainians help those who are, those Ukrainians who are currently under attacks from Russian missiles or weapons, or simply under a risk of attacks. Send safety to everyone. And send people brains that they have lost, so they stop fighting, please, and they start thinking. And give them hearts back, so they start feeling something in their hearts. Please help everyone who is in need, the homeless, the jobless, the sick, the cold, the ill, the addicted, the depressed, the ones losing their faith, the ones who are betrayed, who are feeling alone in this world, who feeling lonely, who are crying, who are going through painful divorces, whose hearts are in pain. Please help everyone. Reach out and touch their hearts and give them peace, please. Show them that you're right next to them. You have not abandoned them. You still love them, and you will love them no matter what, please. Show that to people. Please help everyone in need. Dear Lord, I would like to ask you to help people. Some need your help bad. And these people are Hank's sister, who is in Sloan Hospital right now waiting for a surgery. Please send strength. Send good doctors to help her. Send recovery. Please help Denise Abbott. Ann Larson and her daughter Hannah, Jeffrey S. and his family, Katharina Holm, Alex, Mark, Tom W., J.R. McKim, Gabing with Gary, Lisa, Harry Potnan and his family, Terry Carter, John, Linda, Paula W., Dennis, Jason, Susie, Tim, Dory, Rhonda, John, Taylor, Wayne, Dave, Don, Darla, George, Pamela, Meta, David Porter, his family, and everyone in Chernobyl, Ukraine, Leif, Randolph, Grace, Dean Spooner and his church, Elena, Natasha, Michael, Jake, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Sergey, Liz, Sergey, Ron, Liz, Koshkin Dome, Sandra, Mike and Mike, Petra Olson, Joseph, Melissa, Jodes, Millie, Philip, Eileen, Highwayman, Holy Be Jesus, Victor, Pamela. Please help all the children who have been misplaced, have families reunited, and children find their parents and return to them. Thank you, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends. 3,000 people praying together. I think it's pretty amazing. I rarely think about it because I'm so used to so many people praying at the end, but think about it. It's amazing. It's a small stadium. Wow. Thank you so very much. You are awesome and you rock. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Most likely I will come back streaming tomorrow, but I have to consult with the mods. And, as usual, you're awesome and you rock. And I would like to ask you to say out loud, along with me, as loud as you can, the following. Carthago delenda est.